Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to a new live episode of He Said, He Said, He Said, a look at the world from a seasoned Black man's perspective. I'm your host, Alvin King, and it is Friday, September the 5th. It was a beautiful day, and as you can see, I dressed up a bit. I was a little under the weather earlier this week, and I thought, you know what would make me feel better? Dress up for the viewers, ladies and gentlemen. So again, welcome to our show tonight. And about our show this evening, we are calling our episode Caring with Pride, Navigating Aging in the LGBTQIA plus community. And this is such an important conversation because for so many in our community, aging brings unique challenges. Whether it's finding care that's affirming, navigating housing options, or simply having access to resources that understand who we are and what we need. Now, while our focus tonight is on the LGBTQIA plus community, we also recognize that aging is a universal experience. No matter your orientation or identity, we all share the need for dignity, support, and resources as we age. That's why we here at He Said Live, we want this platform to be a resource for everyone because aging is something that unites us all. And at the center of tonight's conversation is an organization that I have come to love, Seabury Resources for Aging, an organization that models its work around four powerful pillars: good housing, good food, good community, and good resources. And to help us have this conversation tonight and unpack what Seabury Resources does, we are so honored to have with us Christine Bitzer, Program Manager for Care Management at Seabury Resources for Aging. Christine works directly with individuals and families to make sure that the older adults can age with dignity, independence, and support. And we're also joined tonight by Bridget Johnson, Outreach Community Partners Manager at Seabury Resources, who will highlight the many other programs Seabury offers. Programs that range from transportation for seniors to housing, to support for the visually impaired, and of course, initiatives that are specifically tailored for the LGBTQIA plus community. Together, we're going to talk about what it really means to care with pride and why organizations like Seabury Resources are so critical to the lives of our elders. We hope and we know that you'll not only gain insights tonight, but also be inspired to learn more about Seabury Resources and how they can support you, your loved ones, your friends, and your community, ladies and gentlemen. And, you know, I would be remiss tonight if I didn't say this before I bring on my partner in crime. September is recognized as Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, a time dedicated to underscoring the importance of early detection in the fight against one of the most common cancers affecting men. Prostate cancer, when identified at an early age, is highly treatable, with survival rates significantly increasing through timely medical intervention. Men are my brothers, you are strongly encouraged to consult with their healthcare providers about appropriate screening, including the PSA blood test or clinical examinations. These measures are particularly vital for men over the age of 50 and for those over 40 with individual risk factors such as family history or underlying health care or health concerns. Early detection not only saves lives, but also preserves quality of life. Therefore, during this month of awareness, let us each take a moment to encourage fathers, brothers, husbands, and friends to prioritize their health by scheduling their screenings. Prostate cancer awareness is not simply a matter of statistics, guys. It is a matter of protecting the lives of the men that we value most. So please get your screening. And thank you all for being here tonight. And I mentioned the word value, and I don't do the show without these guys. I really do value them. So if you all are ready, let's get on with the chat. Bobby.
Alvin, good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing, man?
I am well. It's Friday. It was a long day at school, but I'm really, really glad that the weekend has arrived and glad to start it with you as always on our Friday evening. We are one short of our He Said cast, but I know he is with us and watching, and we're going to do our best to hold it down.
Yes, we're going to do it. And while I have a moment, Bobby, do you mind if I say hello to our guests, our viewers that have come on? Glenn Baker, thank you for being here. My brother, thank you. George Pringle, thank you for being here. Let me see who else. Rose, thank you for being here. Sean, thank you for being here. We really appreciate you guys joining us tonight. We have a great show.
We do.
We have a great show because in a lot of ways, our show tonight it's about us, Bobby.
It's very much about us. We had the opportunity to speak with our guests a little before we came on air, and we were both talking about the fact that this show is something that really has a very personal value to us as well, given our maturing time of our journey here, as we say.
Well, for those of you who were following Bobby and I earlier this year, Bobby and I did our first red carpet. And our first red carpet was for Seabury Resources. So we have a few pictures from that moment that pretty much put us in touch with Seabury Resources. Yeah. So take a look. This is my partner in crime and George. George is like my display du jour individual. I don't do a show. I don't do anything without him. But this
we
is
were
Bobby
getting our spacing and everything together there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Bobby and I, before the show started, advertising as we do. And so this was a very fun night. And it was the first time that Seabury had a red carpet. And so little did they know, we were about as green as that red is on that carpet, Bobby.
But it was so special to be a part of World Pride in that way. I mean, it was such an honor and such a special treat for us. And we had a good time.
And we met some amazing people. This gentleman, he actually was the event planner for the event, and he just did a spectacular job. And we got a chance to spend time with him. And also this guy here, I don't have enough to say about this guy here, Bobby, because ladies and gentlemen, this is Greg Rockwell. He's the managing director of advancement for Seabury Resources. And that smile is real, okay?
He's a mover and shaker.
Great guy. And we have a couple more pictures. We met a queen that night, a real queen.
Yeah.
A couple of queens that night. We met some queens that night.
I'll leave that right there.
Okay. And this is me, trying to be debonair,
there's Alvin.
For the event, just a little touch, as I told one of our panel members that I was an introvert. And then, she's seeing me do like that.
Of course, I am not. So,
but on a serious tip, having this show tonight, for me is somewhat personal because I am a senior, and I am a senior who doesn't have an immediate family anymore. All of my siblings have passed away. My parents have passed away, and though I have nieces and nephews, I am like I never imagined that I would be the sole person or the last person. So having an organization like Seabury Resources and know what they do and what they provide is somewhat personal for me. Mm-hmm.
And it's a rare exception, but actually true that Alvin and I have that in common. I too have lost all the members of my immediate family, my parents, and both of my brother and sister. And while we are both blessed with an extraordinary village of people who love and care for us, when we talk about the loss of our immediate family, we are certainly not saying that we are alone, because our circles overlap. And as I said, we've known each other for over 40 years. And so we have many, many, many friends in common. And what I know to be true is that Alvin and I are terribly blessed to have an extraordinary village of people who know and love us. And yet it is the reality that we are both over 60 and the sole survivors of our immediate families.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And sometimes a lot of people don't know, and I don't expect them to know, but I didn't know that I would feel this way sometimes. And even with the closeness of our family that we have, you just spoke so highly of, they you still yearn or you want for that family. But on the other end of that spectrum, you ask the question, who's going to take care of me?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're going to look at that a little this evening about resources that are available to you here in the DMV in particular to support those who are aging gracefully.
Mm-hmm. And Bobby, before we bring on our special guest, hold on for 1 second. Let me see. Michi's on here. She's like one of our premier viewers. Thank you. And let me see. I don't know. Oh, our brother in crime, Sean Nelson, he said, wow, I think that's Sean Nelson. I think that's the SN for Sean Nelson. Is that Sean Nelson, our
SN right now? Just thank you for being there, SN.
You're welcome. Bobby, before we, I was getting ready to come on and it dawned on me that this is showing our age. Yeah. 20 years ago this week was Hurricane Katrina.
Wow. 20 years.
20 years. And when I thought about it, again, bringing this show into light and me and you, we are so blessed, Bobby.
Abundantly. And, there's a documentary on Netflix, I believe right now that's looking at, Hurricane Katrina 20 years later and really looking at how people's lives were forever changed. And certainly, for me, I remember being a caregiver to both of my parents. And, when I watched Katrina, one of the first things I thought about were the elderly citizens of New Orleans. How do they just get up and go and move when people require, in the case of my mother, for instance, she required oxygen, pretty much 24/7. And so she had a machine here that was connected, through electricity to keep her breathing with ease. She had COPD. And I think about when something like that happens, and Sean is just indicating that he is, in fact, a Katrina survivor.
My little brother. Yes, he is. Yes.
You know firsthand what we're talking about. But, they looked at how the people were shuttled into the Superdome and all of that, and like without electricity. And you just know that elderly people can be vulnerable in the blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm. 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 And I just, again, I had to mention that because it brought up, in trying to stay on topic with tonight's show, I felt like this was like a thread that was going through some of what we're going to talk about because of the elderly people who were impacted by it. But there's also another component as we talk about LGBTQ, the LGBTQIA plus community. Mm-hmm. Some of us have had to take care of our elderly parents, as you have, Bobby, and they don't know how. They don't know how, because that doesn't come with a with a book, an instruction book. You know what I'm saying?
Manuals for that one, man.
It doesn't. And we know firsthand, may he rest in peace, our earlier co-host, Bosch. When we met him, he moved to Philadelphia to take care of his mother. Yep. And so I kind of, through him, learned so much about what he was doing and saw how strong that he was. Again, having an organization like Seabury Resources, you all need to hear what we have to say today. So thank you all for being here. And Michi had something to say.
She too, soul survivor. Yep.
Oh, Michi as well?
Yes. Yeah, she lost her parents. She was, oh my God, not long before I met her actually. And she my parents essentially became her parents as well. That is one of the reasons we are as close as we are all these years later. Yeah.
Wow. Well, to you and Sean, who have shared with us that you went through that 20 years ago. Again, you know where to find us. You can talk to us about anything. So you know where to find us. So absolutely.
Bobby,
are you ready to get on with the show tonight?
Yeah, we've got some interesting guests for our viewers tonight who are going to share some important information. And Alvin and I have put together some questions that we think that many of you probably would be asking yourselves at this time. So yeah, let's bring our guests on. And please, you guys, get your fingers ready. Yeah, we're ready to hear from you.
We're ready to hear from you. So, I already told you, I introduced her in my promo. So if you all are ready, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Christine Bitzer.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Christine.
Hello again.
Thank you for being here tonight, as we've been saying. Ladies and gentlemen, again, Christine has entered our living room. Okay, she's a sweetheart. So believe me, if you have any questions if you have any questions that you want to ask her, please go ahead. But Christine, I got a little icebreaker for you that I said to help you relax and stuff. So since you're in charge of care management, let me ask you, if you had to manage the care of one of those high maintenance reality TV stars, who do you think would keep you the busiest?
Oh Lord!
And don't worry that you won't be billed by the hour. Okay, so just let who just any of
That's quite an icebreaker, Alvin. I didn't know what the icebreaker. He doesn't tell me either, so I didn't know what it was. So.
And I told him that I have not watched much TV. I should have clarified. I rarely have ever watched those reality So how about Kim Kardashian? This is an old one, but the one that I can think of right off the top of my head.
Your work is cut out for you,
girl. Good luck with that one.
Okay, well, at least you'll be rich. Okay, because she would definitely keep you busy. So thank you, Christine, for indulging in my icebreaker. I appreciate you. So, all right, I do have the first question for you tonight. Also, Christine, with a lot of people here, they may not even know what care management really means. So can you take a moment to break it down for us? Basically, what does it actually look like in practice, and why is it so vital for older adults in the LGBTQIA plus community specifically?
Yeah, sure. I think a good place for me to start is, and as you see, I talk with my hands.
I talk with my cup. Okay.
I just talk.
The reason why I, as a social worker, because I'm a licensed clinical social worker, why I wanted to get into what then was called geriatric care management, also to show my age, because that name changed like 15 years ago. So, was because care managers really look at the whole person. When we are caseworkers, we tend to be boxed into things. Like a hospital case manager does a ton of work, but their work ends as soon as you leave the hospital. A care manager is that thread that you were talking about that goes through everything. So we get to know our clients as individuals, get to understand what's important to them, get to learn about what their goals are. And then we are kind of that continuity that goes through it all. The Aging Life Care Association is our national association. Typically, care managers are nurses or social workers like myself, although they might also be gerontologists. They might be former senior living community administrators, things like that. And our role really is to bring that professional objective guidance to individuals, because there isn't a roadmap. We have these books about how do you raise a child. And there are starting to be books about how to work with your parent. But there's not a lot, we just don't know about it until we're in the middle of it.
You're in the middle of it. That's right. That's right.
Until the crisis happens.
Right.
So the other thing that I think is important to say is that aging life care professionals should have expertise in kind of 8 different areas of a person's life. These include the obvious ones. Like, of course, we are kind of the advocates in the medical setting. We help the doctors connect to one another, help to make sure that they're getting to the appointments that they need to get to, the mental health, the cognitive status, things like that. But also the financial. What is this going to cost you? Who's going to pay for it?
Right.
And most of it is on your own. So what are the options that are out there with regards to, financing this? Housing options. A lot of people want to age in place. And I agree. I understand that. It's not possible for everybody. So then what are the options? What are the costs of those options? Families, the family dynamics, one of the things, even as a care manager, facing my parents getting older, my dad had some cognitive issues just before he died. And, all of that angst and anxiety and you even though we think we've gotten over the baggage, I'm still the oldest child when I go home. It's just who I am.
Right. How it works.
And I've often kind of joked with adult children of older adults who are my clients, and they'll be standing behind the older adult and they'll be like, "I just said that yesterday." Like,
totally been there.
Totally right
been
there. Okay.
And I'm going to be that way. I'm totally going to be that way.
It is all very real. And as we've said before, there's no manual that comes with it. Christine, I want to ask you about some of the specifics that impact the LGBTQIA plus community, and in particular around access of these resources, whether it's healthcare or housing, or just the most basic feeling of being respected in the process of gaining these resources. How does the CBERA step in and kind of address some of these issues head on?
Yeah, and I think in some ways it goes back to what Alvin said, that these issues impact everybody. Of course, the LGBTQIA population has some different needs that need to be addressed. But I think, again, for us, it is really getting to know the person, getting to learn, like, who is your support network, like you were just talking about. Who is the family that is around you?
Yes.
What is your access to these benefits? Again, what does Medicare pay for? What does Medicaid pay for? Are there specific services out there that support the LGBTQ population, and how do you access those? If you go into, or if you use certain resources that are out there, are you going to be respected? Are they going to understand who you are? And in some, I have unfortunately had the experience where I had to tell somebody, it's not your job to convert somebody. It's your job to care for them. So then it becomes advocating for my client to say, hey, this is how they need to be treated, and you need to step to the side now. And we need somebody else in here who can better serve them.
Yes, I think in particular of our transgender brothers and sisters who may present one way, are biologically identified in another way. And then when it comes to medical professionals, people who, need to respect the dignity and how they choose to show up in their most authentic selves.
And I think that's a big thing too. For one of the things that I notice, is getting less so with these gray hairs, but when I walk into the doctor's office, it's immediately assumed that I'm the one who's in charge and that they are not. And so just as I would in that situation, it's no, they asked you to refer to them as they. They asked you to refer to them as Ms. They asked you to refer to them as Mr. So a lot of it is that advocacy, and also what we talked about earlier about education. Because so much of this is also educating about what is the appropriate way to approach any individual.
Well, this is like a good segue into to my next question for you, Christine. If you can, share a story without breaking confidentiality of how care management at CBERA has made a real difference for an LGBTQ IA plus elder or family negotiating the aging process.
And one comment before I start, again, we respect whatever anybody tells us. So we do have people who have come out to us, and we do have other people that we aren't sure about. So I do say, it's just like if you tell me to call you Alvin, I'm going to call you Alvin. So we
I call them long distance, but no. Go right ahead.
I knew you were my girl. I knew it.
I'm your girl.
Okay. Girl. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Okay. Yes. So do you have a personal story that you could share with us, Christine?
I do. I have one or two here that I jotted down in preparation. The first one, it's actually, there's always some crisis, right? Not all the time, but many times. And actually this individual, he's been with us, I believe, for over 10 or 12 years. He has had some mental health issues, but for the most part, the care manager has kept him stable. She's helped connect him to some of the Medicaid services or the QMB services that are out there. He's in senior living where he does receive, a meal. It doesn't have any housekeeping or anything because it's not assisted living. It's just a senior living community. She's managed to keep him stable. Our care manager has managed to keep him stable. But just this summer, actually, he was diagnosed with ALS. He very much felt like something was wrong with his dexterity. And the care manager listened to him and heard that, although other individuals had said, you're just being your crazy self. It's fine. She said, no, let's go get it. Let's go check it out. It turned out he had this ALS. And so she and our life enrichment specialist, we also have a companion service that comes in and engages individuals. This summer has been kind of a big change in his lifestyle because we're now looking at what kind of long-term care might he need. He was put on a feeding tube. He had to, clear out some storage units because he had a lot of stuff that he needed to downsize. And the care manager has been there to hold his hand, guide him through it, to help his circle of individuals understand this is what he needs. This is what his mental health situation needs for him to understand what's going on and to come to terms with that. And this is the support he needs. And so she's also helped kind of be that hub that connects everything and then make sure that it's continuing as it should be. And actually he's doing pretty well considering. Like I said, it's a big change. And I know he has more changes to come. But it's been, I know his... I know the people who care for him have been really happy and felt supported and engaged. So,
thank you.
Yes.
Wow. Bobby, before you ask your question, we have a couple of Sir Benjamin. I've never met Sir Benjamin. Welcome to the show, Sir Benjamin. And Sir Benjamin says, can you take them to court? Case managers who bully their clients. I'm going to.
That's a question for Christine. I'm sure.
Sir Benjamin, I don't know. Christine, would you like to? You don't have to. But if that's, you don't have to answer that question. But that's a question that even makes me lean forward. So.
Yeah, I hope I answer it correctly because when I see that, I see two different potential questions being asked there. So I'm going to ask them as I see them, and if it's not, I'm sure there can be some clarification. So interestingly enough, we do sometimes work with guardians and conservators, so individuals who are no longer able to make their own decisions and don't have a power of attorney. Hint, 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 you need a power of attorney set up. Sometimes we do have to appear in court with them. In our organization, we don't tend to be the individuals who through the court go in and do the assessment and the evaluation. That is a part of what we do, but we don't do it for the court system at present. So we're not, I'm blanking on the term for that, but we're not that person. I'm not sure what the bullying question is, but my role is not, I do not make decisions for my clients. I make recommendations, and then my clients make the decision and I help them carry that through. So for example, one of the things that we talk about a lot is we like to give options Sometimes it doesn't feel like that people are accepting the options. Like we'll say, here's these 3 services. And they're like, well, which one do you like the best? And we're like, well, hear about, this one because of this one because of that, this one because of X, but this is the one I think would work best for you.
Yes.
The other thing is we don't take kickbacks. Like there are some services out there that they make recommendations based on who might give them a finder's fee. That's not what we do. That's against the ethics of the Aging Life Care Association. So I'm not there to bully my clients into anything. Now I am going to talk it through with them. I am going to help explain things to them. And again, sometimes when you're working with older adults, the hardest part to come to terms with is they can make a bad decision.
Yep.
And you may not agree with that decision. And I might tell you that I don't agree with that decision, Bobby. And you'll say, I don't care, Christine.
Right.
And I'll say, okay, here we go. And then it's kind of my job to put out the mattresses. And I often talk about that with adult children. Sometimes all we can do is start to get the services in place, start to put in the mattresses, get our foot in the door. And then when the crisis comes, maybe we'll have a little bit more traction.
Been there.
Yes, absolutely. So one of the pillars that we talked about that hold CBERI up, one of them is good resources. So my question to you is, how does CBERI embody that commitment to good resources? How does it show up? Is there a process of really determining what services will really provide good resources?
I think so. And I think Bridget will talk more about what CBERI offers. But from the care management perspective, again, one of the jobs of a care manager is to understand what the resources are. And also to, again, know what works well in your situation. So, when we're looking at like what home care agency to bring in, how successful have they been with us? Do they communicate well with us? Do they communicate well with the family? Do they make changes when changes are requested? Same thing with senior living communities. Like, what is the service that they're paying for? And do they, so in many ways, it's sort of like a vetting process.
Yes.
And of course, there's always times when a client will bring a new service to us saying, they come to us with care already in place. And we suddenly say, wow, this organization provides great care. Let's start bringing that resource in for our other caregiver or other care partners.
All very real. I've been there as a caregiver. Completely makes sense.
So, Bobby, I'm going to have you go to your next question because we're going to wrap up with Christine because we're going to bring her back. So, would you go ahead and give your final question to Christine before we get our next guest?
So, if indeed, empowerment through care, at its best, care management isn't just about services; it's about empowerment, and we talk about that and making people feel a part of their process of aging. How do you and your team ensure that older adults remain in the driver's seat as best they can of their own lives, even as they face those complex health and social needs? How do you kind of help them really feel empowered and that they're still involved in making those decisions?
Yeah. A lot of it is that education piece, making sure that they understand all parts of it and understanding kind of those consequences.
Yes.
So
getting out those mattresses.
Yes, exactly. Like, okay, you don't have to have somebody in the home, but here are some things that could happen. You don't have to have a daily money manager who will help you manage your budget, but here is what's out there. Here are the alligators out there trying to take away your money. So it is educating, it is explaining. It's also getting to know them as a person. Like that is probably 95% of our job, is to really understand who you are. One of the care managers,
trust.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. The care manager who's been with us the longest, I as a manager, I still carry a small caseload, but I mostly do consultations and assessments. But I read everybody's notes. And one of our care managers, she has a client, or had a client, excuse me, she's since passed away. She loved drinking a Coke, and she lived in, at the end of her life, in a nursing home, unfortunately. Martha would bring her a Coke every single time and some hard candies that she wanted to share. And then another care manager, Michelle, would always turn on the classical music station and would say, you need to turn this on. This is what she likes. This is what makes her go. So, and sometimes it's trial and error, because we do have some clients who have aphasia or who have other voice limitations that they can't really express themselves. So sometimes it's a matter of, let me try this, see if it works. Okay, that did not work. Let's start again. So yeah, it's really about getting to know the person, educating them, giving them the choice. And one of the things that I love about this is I know my client as my client is. I have no, I don't know who they were before they became an older adult. I don't know who they were before they had dementia. So I love them as this person with dementia. And sometimes it's educating the family about that too. Just saying, it's okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sorry, I get passionate about it.
Well, no. Passionate is good. Lady Christine, we're going to have you leave the panel, but we're going to bring you back, because we want to make sure that we have a full panel discussion with Christine and our next guest.
Absolutely.
But Christine Bitzer, Director of Seabury Care Management, thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to tell you how you can get involved, how you can stay in touch. And, just so that you can be a part of this. Believe me, you need to know. Monica Pleasant, thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our next guest, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, I told you I believe everything that Greg Rockwell says, and she's like the bubbly, ladies and gentlemen. So I already introduced her early in the show, but would you please bring to the stage Miss Bridget Johnson, please?
Bridget.
Bridget. Hey, Bridget. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having us.
We're happy to have you.
Thank you. Like I said, this is the best part of my week. I have to say honestly, and you have to know my week to know that. But of course, I told you I have an icebreaker for you also. I'm sure you're very relaxed. But Bridget, you're all about outreach and connecting people. So tell me honestly, what's harder, getting the community engaged or getting everyone to agree on where to go to lunch in your office?
Ooh. Probably getting everybody together for lunch. We look forward to that.
See, because you look like the type of person who can rally a community, okay? I'm just going to say that right now.
Definitely.
I see it. But thank you for being here and indulging me in my icebreaker that I didn't tell Bobby about.
I never know what they are, so I'm learning this as you learn.
So, Bridget, you're here to talk about the foundation of the pillars. And at Seabury, Seabury's mission is built on these 4 pillars: good housing, good food, good community, and good resources. Yeah. Bridget, take a moment to start by giving us a big picture sense of how these 4 pillars guide the work Seabury does with older adults.
Yes, definitely. Seabury's mission is really to provide personalized, affordable housing and services that help older adults in the DC area. So all of those things go together. It's like a chain link. If you don't have good housing, safe, stable housing, then how can you have good food as well? How can you build community, and how can you get access to these resources, right? So it's really important that we have all 4 of those pillars because they work together. It really does help to build community, a safe space for isolated seniors to be. It's about 74% of those in DC are aging alone. And so that's a really big thing. And even if you think about that even more, there's an even larger percent of them that are LGBTQ, right? So being able to provide those good housing, that good resources, those good foods helps them with stability, living longer, having a sense of worth.
Thank you.
You
Big
mentioned
picture,
that.
ladies and gentlemen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
And you were talking about housing and stability, and that's one of the things that I wanted to touch upon. Obviously, specifically with the LGBTQIA plus community, many people may be surprised to know that it was as recent as May when Muriel Bowser cut the ribbon on Mary's House for older adults, the first dedicated LGBTQ plus affirming communal living space for seniors here in the district. And for those who aren't aware about that facility, it's 15 affordable apartment style units designed specifically to support LGBTQ plus seniors through housing, health, and wellness programs and access to community services. It's the first in the District of Columbia, and it's only 15 units. It's certainly a wonderful thing to celebrate, but it's 15 units, and we certainly know that the LGBTQ plus senior community is much larger than that. So it makes me beg the question, so how does Seabury Housing work help secure and ensure that that older adults within this community can age safely and stably and with a sense of dignity?
Yes, definitely. Shout out to Mary's House, because that is a great partnership that we have. And we've been doing a lot of work with them, presentations, bringing those resources directly to Mary's House, letting them know that we have safe transportation through Seabury Connector. They can get on the bus with us and they can go to the grocery store. They can go on a site trip, and it's safe. It's a safe environment where people respect who you are and how you want to be identified. So we appreciate that. And we specifically have an out and about group, and they do a lot of things in the community, and they have built community within themselves, right? And so that has been really great to be a part of that and to see all the great things that we're being able to do and invited to participate in. We were a part of Silver Pride this year, and that was really great. That was the first time that we were a part of World Pride and we're able to have a Silver Pride. So thank you all for shouting us out for that and sharing those lovely pictures with everyone.
Doing the red carpet. That was
and the red carpet, of course. We love it. Yes, but like we said, it's personalized housing, right? So we have to get to know the individual to get to know what they need. And we want them to feel safe. So we are embedded in the community. We have a bunch of community partners. We work with the villages. We work with DACL. We really want to make sure that we're providing what they need and not just throwing things at them, right? If you're thinking about community, it's really important about how you enter a community, getting to know the community, getting to know the people, and really asking them what they need. Sometimes they don't know what they need, but if you're able to provide resources, hey, this is available, or did you know that they had this, or did you know that you could go to Capital Area Food Bank and sign up to receive a box, or did you know that DC Central Kitchen will deliver the meal directly to your home? Did you know that we had dining commons right here in the neighborhoods, wards 5 and 6, and you can eat one healthy meal a day. And you can also interact with other seniors in the community, right? It's really about combating social isolation, providing them with nutritious food, and again, really personalizing what they need.
Absolutely. See, well, Bridget, right there in that one statement, you took my next question by storm, because I was going to ask you about nutrition and wellness. And you just talked about the second pillar that Seabury is one of your missions, good food. So thank you for so clearly articulating and answering my next question. So I'm just going to go on to Bobby. But before we do that, Bobby, let me say hello to Believe Radio. I guess from the Bay Area has reached out to us and watching us tonight. That's right. Thank you, Believe Radio. When you come to DC, Seabury Resources is the organization. Seabury Resources for Aging is the organization you should get in touch with. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
My next question was also kind of touched on in your answer, and it kind of talks about isolation and the importance of seniors being able to engage and build community. Now, you did mention that Seabury Connector. I'm assuming that's your all's transportation mode of getting people around?
Yes. Seabury Connector is our shuttle. Yes.
Okay.
We work with them very closely. They are one of our partnerships as well. And
Okay.
they, for our dining sites in wards 5 and 6, they provide 2 grocery shuttles every month.
Yeah.
And they also provide 2 site trips. So they're allowed to go anywhere within the Beltway that they would like to go. We take them sometimes to the Amish market, or they get to go to the African American Museum, anything we find, because DC is also resource rich, honey.
Yeah.
So they always have a lot of festivals, activities, and things. And so we like to keep our seniors busy. So we're always trying to connect with different organizations to provide them, keep them up to date on the Medicare and all of that stuff, but also provide them with a little bit of fun. Living in a senior home, sometimes if they're, if you don't have the right property management team, or if you don't have the right people involved, it can, be very quiet in there. And a lot of the places that we have are very lively. We have a wellness center, model cities. Every day that you go into model cities, there's always something happening. If you go into our dining commons, we don't just start off, it's Friday, they're playing music. They're learning about health education. They're doing different activities, keeping their minds going. When we started working with the Memory Club, they come out and do bingo and different things. We also work a lot with MPD. They come out and support us. They've done safety walks with us. They've had, different activities with our participants. So it's just, we know that without the community, we wouldn't be able to be as successful as we are. And when I think about 101 years, I think about resilience, right? We in it, and we're going to continue to advocate for the voiceless, and we're going to continue to advocate for seniors, that senior resources are important, and that we want to respect those who are older than us, and we want to grow old, and we want to be respected, right, and grow with dignity. Absolutely. And aging in place is super important to us. You wouldn't want to move at 24, so I know you don't want to move at 74, right? And you want to get all of your belongings and trinkets. And so we want to be able to provide you with the resources so that you can age right where you are.
I love it. I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is almost like Bridget is reading my questions right out of my head.
Take them right on out. I'm like, okay.
So she has outlined the resources that the pillar of resources that Seabury provides. She just outlined. Once again, thank you, Bridget, for doing that so eloquently. I appreciate it.
So I'm going to ask you, since we asked the same of Christine, ask you, do you have an anecdote, one story that you can share with us of an example of how these things kind of came together and really impacted, changed the life of one of your senior citizens?
Yes. I can think of one that I actually spoke with this week.
Okay.
That's the one that stands out to me the most. She was very isolated and rarely left her apartment. And after connecting her with the program, she began to attend a lot of our trips and our social lunches. And she even started to volunteer at the site. And this week, she told me that the program gave her back a sense of purpose and reminded her that she still had so much life left to live, right? Watching her blossom from someone who may have been lonely to being fully engaged was a reminder that the work that we do matters. Another young lady said, my hygiene is up. It gives me a sense of purpose. I can go out. I want to get dressed. I'm having fun. So those are the type of things that help me understand and believe in community and service.
Absolutely.
I want to say that we just had a question from Michelle Bowie about how could someone volunteer. I want to say that during the month of May, when Bobby and I did the red carpet, one of our viewers, Rick Irick, went right to seaburyresources.org.
Yes.
If you go to their website, there is a button there that a pull down that can show you how you can donate, get involved. I know Rick did it. He came back on the show and said he did it, and it's so rewarding to him. But please go to the website, Michelle Michi, my love, and donate or see how you can volunteer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's also a tab for donate and there's a tab for volunteer. And I'm your outreach and partnership manager, and we always have available things for you to do if you want to volunteer.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We can make sure that the two of you guys connect. In fact, there's someone that's very near and dear to me that I'm thinking about who may be able to benefit from CBERI resources, who lives near and dear across the street, I should point out, that may be able to benefit from CBERI. So that's excellent. That's really excellent.
Well, Bridget, we don't want you to leave because we're going to bring Christine back. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being on our show. Norma, would you please bring Christine back, because we have a couple of questions that we want to ask both of you that we want both of you to weigh in on. Again, this show, I've been waiting for it all day. It is so enlightening to me. So again, I'm going to thank you until you get off the screen. Thank you so much for being here. This really means a lot to me. So yes. Christine and Bridget, you can both weigh in on this. Looking ahead, what do you both see as the future of aging services in the DMV area, especially when it comes to meeting the unique needs of LGBTQ elders? Christine, you can go first.
Okay. One thing, I was actually just talking with one of my colleagues and friends about this the other day. The services that are available in the DMV, especially for the LGBTQ community, it's really on people's radar. Things like Mary's House, thanks for mentioning that, because I had meant to say something about that as well. That is...
He said.
Exactly. That is super exciting. Like, I cannot imagine. I'm hopeful that will happen elsewhere in the United States, but I feel like that's just the beginning. That there will be other communities like that. SAGE, they have their education session for individuals to become SAGE certified, indicating that they understand, they've learned about. Hopefully, they've gained some cultural understanding of the LGBTQ community, how to help them age with dignity. So I'm very hopeful. I do think there will be more resources out there. I know that the Out and About program, a lot of my job as well is outreach, and we serve clients not only in DC, but Montgomery County, Prince George's County, and in Northern Virginia. And the Out and About program is what everybody asks about. We just need to find a grant that will take it into those communities. But that's what people are excited about, is they want that community, they want that interaction, and they want it for the Silver Pride. So that's kind of my response.
Well, we're going to keep our fingers crossed. How about you, Bridget?
Definitely. I'm thinking about resilience. There's a lot going on in the world, but we all have to age, and we want people to respect us and love us and be well taken care of, right? And so I don't think that that's going to go away. And I think that thinking about those who work with CBERI and for CBERI, I think about people who have love and service in their hearts. Absolutely. And so they're going to keep going, and we're going to keep advocating, and we're going to keep talking about how important it is, right? Because we all are going to get older. Yeah. And we want to be respected and cared for. And what we're doing in care management and being able to connect, as a transplant, my family lives in California. So the fact that I can call CBERI and be a part of the care management program and have someone look out for my father or look out for my mother or my cousin, that's amazing. That's not just something that affects us in DC, but nationwide, right? And so I think that, again, it's the passion that we have and the love that we have for what we do. It's service all the way around. And so we're just going to keep trucking. And, we have a lot of things that are going on again with cuts and stuff, but we believe that, we are going to connect with the right people, and they're going to help us move forward.
Is there any question why she is the outreach coordinator?
There's no question. Like I said, for those of you who can't make your minds up for lunch, you all just don't need to eat, okay? Because Okay.
So we touched base a little bit on utilizing the website as a means of getting in connection with CBERI. Are there other ways? Can people is there a facility, a spot where people can drop by? And just for clarification, who's eligible for it? Is it all over the city? Is there a certain age? Like, tell us a little bit about that, the importance of that ability to connect. Who's eligible, and is the website the best way to do it? Are there other ways?
Yes. So 55 and up, eligible, right? All over the city, out and about, doesn't have any boundaries. We are willing to connect with anyone who lives in the District of Columbia, in the DMV area. We're willing to connect with them and provide community for them. So that is not something that has any borders for us. As for like some of our dining commons and different things like that, there are, different stipulations that we have because of our grants. But we are still very much so welcoming those, anyone to come. You could go to our website and look at different options for you to volunteer. They also have where you could participate in one of those dining commons. Our transportation also just got a grant from AARP where we're able to service. Yes.
Come on, AARP. Come on. I hope y'all watching tonight. Come on, AARP.
Yes. So able to service the community in Ward 7 and 8, and we're proud of that. So, we're just expanding. We're getting bigger and better. And, the slower we are, we just fix what we have to do and structure it better and then move forward and grow and grow and grow. And so we're looking forward to something that went from, the shuttles just for our dining commons in Ward 5 and 6 are now being able to service other people in the community. Right. So I just, we're looking forward to the future and what it can become.
Come on now.
Come on. Well, look, first of all, our guest correspondent, Sean Nelson, is one of the commissioners in DC. So I know that for Ward 5, I think he's in Ward 5. So hearing what you just said, Sean, I know you got your hands raised up. You're doing cartwheels in the living room. Okay, I know you are.
I'm thinking that SN is Sean Nelson now that I think.
That's what I'm thinking. It is him. So I do have.
Can I add about care management?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So our service, like I said, we go throughout the DC metro area. We tend to work with older adults, again, 55 plus and up. At times we might accept somebody who has a disability. There was a question earlier that I saw flash up on the screen right before I disappeared. So I wanted to address that real quick.
What was that?
So care management is a fee for service. It isn't covered through insurance and other things. It tends to be private pay. We try to keep our rates affordable, but they are a professional rate. So it's $180 an hour. Our life enrichment services, which, again, can help a client go to medical appointments, can engage them, that's $75 an hour. But one of the things that makes CBERI unique and kind of wraps back into that is that 20% of our hours come from are funded through our equity fund. So we always make sure that as people spend down or different members of the community, we try to have slots available that we can reduce that fee down even further. In fact, I was just helping Greg, Mr. Greg, your favorite, kind of run some numbers. And this year, some of our funds we've been able to provide 3 times more hours than they would have been able to afford on their own. So again, there often is a wait list for that, but it's there. That's one of the reasons why we fundraise, why we look for grants and things like that. But we don't have restrictions. So if you end up in rehab in Maryland, but you're from DC, we're going to try to bring you back home, and we're going to be in Maryland advocating for you. Absolutely. And vice versa as well. So same what Brigitte said about, we're caring for people kind of nationwide. Yes. We're caring for people's people nationwide.
This is so powerful. So very powerful. Thank you so much.
Let me tell the viewers, it is 8 o'clock and we are such a stickler about time. But as I told you, there are some shows that you all get mad that we end on time. But this is one of those shows I know you don't want us to end on time. So we're going to go a few more minutes because we're going to wrap up with Christine and Bridget. but before we let them go. So if you all could quickly answer this question here, and I got to move it into politics just a little teeny bit.
And before, I know you're going to go there. I just wanted to point out to Bridget that our viewer, Michelle Bowie, also says she's going to be reaching out to you about Trinity, Washington University's service fair that's coming up September 18th. So a connection made here on He Said, He Said. We just love that. Okay. Sorry, Alvin. Go right ahead.
No, that's all right. You're good. So for Bridget and Christine, if you could share one message with policymakers and local communities about what it takes to truly support seniors with pride, what would that message be? And
Bridget, you want to go first?
Ooh, Christine, you're gonna put me on the spot like that?
Somebody told me that everybody has a plan until somebody hits you in the face. So,
okay, I let Christine went first the last time. So, okay, so
I'll be fair. I'll be a team player.
Okay, there you go.
I would say one of the quotes that's really stayed with me is a quote from My Grandfather's Blessings. It's a book that I love by Dr. Rachel Remen. And she talks about helping, fixing, and serving and the different ways that we can see life. And when she talks about helping, she says that it's a way of seeing other people as weak. And when she talks about fixing, she says, when you think about fixing, you're thinking of someone as broken. And when you talk about serving, you're talking about seeing someone's life as whole. And that's what I would say is it's all about community. We're in this together, and let's figure out how to serve our community. That's the only way to make it better.
Amen.
I don't know if I can follow that. But the one thing I would say that you all already said,
yes,
we are all going there.
We're all going
there. There is no way out of here unless you go through the aging process.
Right. There's only one alternative, and that's not getting older. So
exactly. True. So let's, like Bridget said, let's take care of one another. Let's be a community. Let's be a nation.
Yep.
And take care of one another.
Absolutely.
Well, first of all, as I told you, I am on cloud 200 now because Bridget Johnson and Christine Bitzer from Seabury Resources has blessed He Said, He Said, He Said. So thank you both for being here. We're going to close the show with you, but we're going to have you go backstage, and then we will bring you back so we can formally close the show. But ladies and gentlemen, put some clips up in there for Bridget Johnson and Christine Bitzer from Seabury Resources. Go and participate. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Hey, Emerson, thanks for tuning in tonight. I see you.
Hey, Emerson. Hey, Katura Johnson. Thank you. I love that name right there. Tahira Wiley. Rose, thank you so much. Thank you all for being here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we let you go, thank you all for hanging with us.
Oh my goodness.
You know, some shows we just got to take beyond the time. But next week on September the 12th in our We See You, we're bringing back a brother who's young, gifted, and Black. He is breaking boundaries, and our show is The Creative Impact of Calvin Michaels. You all have to sing. He is a triple threat in many ways. And so you all will have to tune in. I'm telling you, young, gifted, and Black. Calvin Michaels will be here with us next week. And I know you all, unless you're living under a rock, you all must know. If you're our age, I know you've touched something by this person I'm about to talk about.
Yeah.
Giorgio Armani passed away this week. So, Bobby, take it away.
Yeah, this is a heavy one for us. This is a fashion icon. Today, we pause here at He Said, to honor the extraordinary life of Mr. Giorgio Armani, a visionary whose elegance, innovation, and artistry reshaped the very contours of modern fashion. Born in Piacenza, Italy, on July 11th, 1934, Mr. Armani founded the House of Armani in 1975 and transformed it into an international respected empire, one defined by timeless tailoring, quiet luxury, and a pervasive sense of refined sophistication across clothing, fragrances, home design, and more. He passed away peacefully on September 4th, 2025, surrounded by loved ones after a lifetime spent tirelessly nurturing his creative vision and leading his company as both CEO and creative director.
Giorgio Armani was renowned for pioneering a minimalist aesthetic that softened masculine formality and redefined women's power dressing for generations. His unstructured jackets, muted tones, and impeccable tailoring came to symbolize the understated elegance of the 1980s and beyond. His influence extended well beyond runways into the hearts of Hollywood red carpets, cinematic costume design, and global lifestyle culture. Armani's creations became a universal symbol of sophistication, favored by icons and embraced by aspiring stylists alike. As we remember him, we also acknowledge the wave of tributes from across industries. Fellow designers like Donatella Versace, luminaries of film and fashion, and global leaders, all paying homage to Armani's legacy of creativity and cultural impact. Though he is gone, his spirit endures in the elegance he defined, the artistry of champion, and the lives he inspired. May his commitment to artistry, refinement, and integrity continue to guide and uplift the world of fashion and beyond. Thank you, Giorgio Armani, for your immortal legacy. Thank you, Giorgio Armani. Thank you all for letting us share this story with you. And if we could bring our special guests back to the panel, so we could say goodbye to them formally, and also share our words of the week from He Said, He Said, He Said. Aging gracefully means being flexible, being open, allowing change, enjoying change, and loving yourself. And if you can't do that, like RuPaul said, if you can't look, I'm not going to quote it because she'll get me. Okay, but love on yourself. But I want to say once again, thank you, viewers, for joining us tonight, and especially thank you to Seabury Resources for aging. For being here tonight, and our special guests, Christine Bitzer and Bridgette Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you all for having us again.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. We got to go. So we will see you all next week on a brand new episode of He Said,
He Said,
She Said. Okay. All right.
She said tonight. Thanks, everybody.
Take care now.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.